Hi there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
No, I'm John Humphrey.
Olivia Mathieu. We're gonna watch Game of Thrones, episode 4 of season 8 right now. I'm excited to get into this. Yeah, welcome to our new place. It's all yellow.
It was all yellow.
Before we hop into this, I'm gonna make a couple of mentions. First off, thank you to Eric over at Nerdcrotic for editing this video for us. It's quite a task that he has. Edit down a whole reaction to 10 minutes because of the fact that YouTube only allows 10 minutes worth of reaction footage. You guys can follow him at Nerdcrotic. He's also done work for people like Emon Snow, Akasan, work at the Schmodown. He has his own YouTube channel and podcast. You can find his podcast wherever podcasts are available. And lastly, like I mentioned, this will just be reaction highlights in here. Full-length TV reaction stream-alongs are all available over at our Patreon page. Over there, even though we also do weekly Q&As, we do TV show reaction stream-alongs for many shows. That includes My Hero Academia, just picked up Attack on Titan again, loving it. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, One Punch Man. John picked up Cobra Kai Season 2. He did all of Haunting of Hill House and Supernatural. And several of those shows also have reaction highlights included. That is One Punch Man, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Supernatural, this latest season of Attack on Titan, and My Hero Academia. We cover Game of Thrones full length over there. So we really appreciate if you guys to go ahead and show your support, because that's how we were able to pay Eric to do this. Eric, our editor, if you're editing this right now, which you are, I think you should just keep the whole opening and then try to figure out the next 6 minutes of what to do. Aww.
Last of House Mormont. Oh.
I think you should be Lord of Storm's End.
Yeah.
To Lord Gendry Baratheon of Storm's End.
Awesome.
You're not the only one who's clever.
Smart girl.
That's why we all agreed to follow him.
Ooh.
That's the kind of man he is.
Oh god, here it comes.
He's little, but he's strong. The kind of person climbs on a fucking dragon, a madman, or a king!
Oh, Danny.
Oh, what is she thinking exactly?
I don't know, but
I can't tell.
I feel
This
bad for her.
motherfucker here.
I can't tell if she's like upset or she's conflicted on whether or not he should take the throne.
No, I feel bad for her because without her army, they would have been fucked, and she's getting literally no praise here.
Oh, Brienne's having fun.
No, it's gonna get dark in a second.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
Oh god.
You're a virgin.
That's something you would say so.
And here we are. You've changed, little bird.
Without Littlefinger and Ramsay and the rest, I would have stayed a little bird all my life.
All I know is that you're beautiful, and I love you, and none of it. So be with me.
Oh, why?
You'll be a wonderful lord, and any lady would be lucky to have you. But I'm not a lady. I never have been. That's not me.
I should keep warm enough in here.
Oh.
Keep fire going.
Help him.
Oh, move aside.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Oh, snap.
Oh, this is what Game of Thrones is all about.
What are you doing?
Oh!
You show it, girl.
Some people get it on before the war, and some people right after.
I told you.
Oh, snap. It's not the game anymore. But it'll become the game after they've had sex. She doesn't have to drink it.
Swear your brother and Samuel Tully to secrecy and tell no one else. Or it will take on a life of its own and you won't be able to control it or what it does
So
to
getting mad.
No matter how many times you bend the knee, no matter what you swear.
What you need is a non-disclosure agreement.
You need some kind of Christian
Even then.
Grey-ass contract.
I've never begged for anything. But I'm begging you. Don't do this. Please.
We can't live together.
Oh, shit's gonna go so bad.
Yep.
Shit's gonna go so bad. Oh god, that's cold.
I've just told you how.
Ah!
I need to tell you something.
Yee.
You have to swear you'll never tell another soul. I'm happy that you'll finally have to climb. Do you know how long I've waited to tell tortoise? To climbing mountains.
To climbing mountains.
Oh, snap.
Pair of tall blonde tufts.
Oh,
Behind
fuck.
looking in the mirror. The brawn of the Blackwater. Say another word and I will belt you. See, I don't believe you do that. You couldn't do it on your best day, you one-handed fuck, and your best days are long gone. You could be Lord of the Reach. Hi, Governor, you mad? It's better than being dead. It isn't going to kill us, you won't be talking. Kill a few hundred people that make you a lord. Kill a few thousand that make you king. And then, all your cocksucking grandsons will ruin the family with their cocksucking ways.
I don't want John to go down there. The men in my family don't do well in the capital. Tyrion,
I have a secret.
what if there's someone else?
Oh, you fucking bitch.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
That's where he belongs to. Dove has no place in this house. Will you take him with you?
You motherfucker.
He'll be happier up there. This is farewell then. You never know.
Aww.
Foreshadowing. The wildlings are gonna ride in at the last
You've
second.
got the north in you. The real north. There's only so many books a person can read, so we...
I'm sure he knows how it happened. If it's a boy, we want to name him John.
Oh.
I hope it's a girl.
Ghost.
Mr. Frodo.
You know, like pet him or
Doesn't
anything?
even say bye to Ghost.
They made eye contact. That's how badasses do it with dogs. Oh, that came out. Well.
How many others know?
Oh,
Including us.
god damn, so many people know.
Not a secret anymore. It's information. I worry about her state of mind.
Oh.
We are advisors to the Queen. Worrying about her state of mind is our job. Maybe Cersei will win and kill us all.
I was hoping.
We won't have to worry about it either. I feel like this episode we've gotten back to like the Tyrion personality I've been missing. Oh! Oh! Holy fuck! What just happened? Oh my god! Oh! 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 Oh, don't look! Don't look! Don't look! Oh my god! No, don't look! Oh! Holy fuck! Oh, fuck them up, Daenerys. Oh god, I did not see that coming. That just came out of nowhere. Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh!
Wow.
Tyrion is Jack Sparrowing this situation, man.
You're certain about the dragon?
I saw it sink beneath the waves.
That must have been glorious.
Oh, you fucking...
The glory is yours, my queen.
I want her to burn it down. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, fuck!
Oh no. Oh, the mountain.
But perhaps it's good that people see that Daenerys Stormborn made every effort to avoid bloodshed, and Cersei Lannister refused. We should know whom to blame when the sky falls down upon them.
Oh boy.
Team Danny. Yep. Never thought I would say that. But 100%.
Served tyrants most of my life. He doesn't want the throne. That's why he bent the knee. Have you considered the best ruler might be someone who doesn't want to rule? We're discussing treason. I will act in their interest, no matter the personal cost. So what happens to her?
You are so dead, berries.
Stay here. Stay with me. Please. Stay. She's hateful. And so am I.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, there's like 10 of them.
Your queen's last dragon is vulnerable. Your armies are battle-weary and depleted, while ours have been reinforced with the Golden Gun.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, snap. He's
You
gonna
can't deal with it.
talk to her himself.
I know you don't care about your people. Why should you? They hate you, and you hate them. The reign is over. But that doesn't mean your life has to end.
I don't think he's saying the right things.
Doesn't mean your baby has to die.
I don't think he's saying the right things.
If you have any last words, now is the time. Turquoise!
Oh.
Oh, rain hell.
Team Mad Queen. Kill them all. Don't give a fuck.
Kill them all. Yeah, fuck it. Do it. Get in there.
You fucking. I can't wait to see your bird turkeys. Okay. Kill them all, baby.
That's an ending beat right there.
Oh, next week's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah, next week's gonna be gnarly.
Well, Game of Thrones. Another crowd-pleasing, 100% satisfying episode for all fans everywhere.
Unanimous enjoyment.
After watching this episode, I can tell no one is going to get upset with the way this unfolded. Am I right, guys?
Can't imagine
Am
why.
I right?
No.
Can't imagine that there's anything in this episode that'll get anyone mad. Just me making that sarcastic comment. Dislike, screw this guy. I like the way it ended. Like, I was feeling very mad. In a good way. Like, I was feeling Daenerys' anger. Oh, man, yeah, you're gonna... I was like getting up on like, fucking kill all those innocent people. Just get in there and murder them. Like, I was getting into that zone. I was getting so infuriated within the realm of what the protagonists are feeling towards the antagonist. So that, I thought, was incredibly effective. There's just a lot of stuff in between that was just like, eh. Well, I mean, just going through the episode, the celebration at the beginning, I thought was nice to have some moment. I mean, of course, we started off with reminding us of the main characters who did die from last week, honoring their deaths. Jon Snow's delivery kind of has a bit of a Captain Kirk cadence to it. Something in the breath pattern that he has.
Every few words at a time, very, very stoic and rousing.
And when everyone's having a fun time, you're like, I just know that there's going to be some serious tension coming right now, isn't there? There's going to be some serious tension coming our way. I really liked Daenerys, Emilia Clarke's performance, a lot in this episode. I thought she was so nuanced in almost every single frame she had on camera. Anytime she was talking with anyone, you could feel there was like a deeper layer of repressed anger underneath almost every single scene she had. I even really like the scene that she has with Jon, where she's begging him to just not say shit to anyone, because she's like, trust me, things will get out of hand. It'll be bad. That little turn that she has when Jon says, like, we can make it work, and she says, we can, and I just told you how. Everything that with Daenerys, I really did love a lot. It's funny to watch this with you, because you didn't like Daenerys, and then you grew to really be on her side in this episode.
I really thought she was on point this entire episode. I felt her emotions. I understood where she was coming from, and the entire episode I was like, why is no one listening to her? She's the only one that I understand where she's coming from, that I agree with the entire episode. Yeah, I was Team Dany this entire episode.
Weirdly put her in a point of view where they made her feel more of an underdog. She's not like 100% underdog, but she was certainly in an isolated situation through a lot of this.
Oh yeah, she's a stranger in a very strange land, and even though she's just done a very physical service to them, it's still, she notices that, and they don't trust her, and they are just all not familiar. It's like even at the party, even when they're all just trying to enjoy the victory, everybody is off with their own people.
Yeah, even if they're not ungrateful, there's certainly a lack of appreciation that's not being demonstrated for anything that went down with her.
I think they're ungrateful. Not one of them, every time they got a chance, they were whispering to each other how they didn't trust her. We're talking trash about her every chance they got. I think they're ungrateful. They wouldn't have had that opportunity if Dany didn't bring her armies and her dragons.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah, that is true.
Jaime and Brienne, I thought was a really nice touch, so we got a fucking heartbreaker at the end.
Different from in the book, I'm told.
Pretty gnarly how we get the episode where you're like, oh, they're together, they're doing it, yes. And then in the same episode, Jaime, you dick, why would you do this?
Yeah.
From a psychological standpoint, I get it. I do. It's like I'm back and forth on that. Psychologically, I'm like, yeah, you're kind of triggered. You're going back to your old ways. I don't know if that's really gonna be the follow through, because they kind of set it up where he's gonna go maybe help out Cersei in some way, because everything he was saying was about no matter what happens, I'm there to get back to Cersei. I'm there to help her. That was his whole speech. Then he leaves, he abandons Brienne, who looked like they were really forming a loving relationship, which is heartbreaking. For some reason, I'm not buying that he's gonna really he's gonna be a bad guy again all of a sudden.
it doesn't excuse the fact that he's left Brienne behind the way he has. At the end of the day, I don't see him surviving whatever he's going to.
A man's gotta do what he's gotta do to, protect the sister that he likes to bone. These are just facts. These are facts, people.
I kind of took that thing with Brienne maybe as like, I'm going to break this off really, really sharply so you don't try to follow me or anything. But I don't know exactly what Jaime's going to do, because even though I think he still has a love for Cersei, I don't think he would just go back and completely fall in with her agenda and stuff. Like, I feel like even if he does try to appeal to her or connect to her somehow, it's not just going to be a full-on 180 back to old Jaime.
I mean, but you make a good point that it is still pretty jacked up what he...
And I don't even buy that he was trying to make it, because at the end of the day, Brienne is loyal to the Starks. She would never have left them, because the Starks are Winterfell, the Stark sisters. Sansa, she would not have left Sansa. So I don't buy that he did it to stop her from following him. He did it to be a fucking dick.
Speaking of the Starks, they were great crowd pleasers this episode. I don't think...
They were crowd pleasers in the sense they were running their mouths to the entire crowd.
Hey man, what's Game of Thrones without some gossip, right?
Let me tell the secret to the person who learned to use secrets to their advantage from Littlefinger and Cersei.
This episode weirdly, I mean, some people will say that with the third episode they really felt it a lot, but I think this episode really, especially in its writing, showed a lot of the damage that comes with only having 6 episodes to wrap all this up.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of the writing was more expositional than it has been, kind of repetitive, like when you pointed out at one point, it's like they had that scene with Sansa and the Hound talking with each other, which was a cool moment. It was a neat moment.
Especially for book readers.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about, but all right. That was like a neat moment. Then in the very next scene, pretty much saying the same thing about Sansa. That I'm like, we just heard that scene from what Sansa was saying with the Hound. A lot of the dialogue in this I felt wasn't exactly as subtle as it could have been, and you don't really have the time to afford the subtlety in a situation like this.
I think that's the biggest problem here, is it really does a disservice to the fans, because even if they go the Mad Queen route with Dany, which is obvious that's what they're going to do, it's a disservice to the fans of the characters to wrap it up in such a short and rushed manner that they're doing. She's not even there yet, and the next episode is episode 5.
I feel like they're trying to push a lot now. Like this episode for me felt like, okay, now you're starting to push things forward without real build up to certain elements, I feel. There was a surprising death with Rhaegal.
Whatever his name is.
Regis.
Ronald Reagan.
The other
Reggie.
the other dragon
Reggie the dragon.
Yeah.
didn't deserve to die.
Sorry guys, that was rude. When he got killed, I was like, whoa, did not see that death coming at all.
That felt like old Game of Thrones for half a second.
Yeah,
there.
it
We're just like,
did,
whoa,
'cause that-
that's
I
a
mean,
big setback.
You can't handle animal deaths. Thank God you turned away, because that was a brutal death.
I
That was
can't
brutal.
handle the fact that they have Euron Greyjoy, the most useless, I can't believe he's still alive,
He's a hateable guy.
character in the entire show, kill a dragon, and not someone like the Night King.
See, I'll agree with you on that. I do think that it could have been a better villain.
I'm not bothered by this at all. Like,
Why?
Euron Greyjoy?
because he's a despicable slime. Like, of course. Like,
He's been around for just a few episodes. He's not even that great of
been
a
around
character
since
and
at
or
least last
villain.
season. Yeah, he's an unlikable character, but
He's
I think this makes him that much more
an
unlikable.
unlikable character. He's just nothing.
Well,
He's
I
nothing
find him
character.
to be a pretty unlikable
See, I feel-
character up until this point.
I feel like he's like one of the random supporting side villains in the show,
Yes,
and
yeah.
I feel like the death of the dragon should have gone to a villain who's more of a built-up villain.
Well, yeah, but we
And I
got that
felt
with the
like-
Night King when he rose and transformed a dragon.
That was last
How are you gonna
season,
top
and
that,
we should have
though?
gotten it. We should have had.
He's gonna kill another
We
one?
should have had
We've
Viserion
already
take
seen-
out one of his brothers. We absolutely
I'll
should
give
have
you
had that.
More than it being Euron who does it, my issue with the way the death handled was like, oh, shocking in the moment. The only emotional weight that death really had was when Daenerys says, she says something like,
My child, you
they
saw
murder
my child
you saw my
fall
child
from the
murder. Yeah, you saw my child. Like, that's when I was like, oh, there's emotional weight to that death. Whereas the moment was just more like, oh, shocking.
Yeah, I mean,
Lack of
there's-
the emotional context to that. And I'm like, oh, we needed to get to that line of dialogue to feel that weight, you know?
Yeah, there's not a lot of emotional impact time for a lot of things, and I think that could have helped again. And again, that's I think another just symptom of it being crunched, because yeah, you get the reacting to the battle for the first few minutes of this episode, and then we're moving on and we're cramming everything up until the precipice of the battle for the throne.
I felt like this dragon death here was to propel the threat level of Euron in this scene. Let's try to make him more scary or something like that.
No, I thought it was just to set back. It's just to set back their whole mission. I mean, that might be the most significant thing Euron does in this entire battle.
He's probably gonna die in 2 seconds of the next episode.
It's possible, but to me, that's an extension of what
I
of
guarantee you.
Cersei's will. Like, to me, it's also Euron did it, but it's really Cersei's will that got this all done, and her use of Euron that got this all done.
This is the demonstration of divided fans right here. And I'm right here in the middle going, I kind of get both sides.
How
you
is
know?
Cersei the most strategically smart character left on this show? I'm just flabbergasted how this episode went down.
Missandei dying.
Oh,
Well, that's what I mean. Like, she gets captured for like a minute, and then a minute later, she's dead. It's like, it's happening too fast.
We didn't really get a
you know?
chance to live in it.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, the second she's captured, then they cut to that scene, you're like, oh, she's dead, you know? It's things like that where I feel like with more episodes, you could have really let that moment. Like, less episodes that are longer don't really make up for having less episodes in situations like this.
Yeah, no.
they know that these people have these stupid big spears from last season. Why didn't they put armor on the dragons or something? How strategically dumb is the entire other side?
I was a little bit taken aback by as shocked as I was by the death, and I'm like, kudos to you guys for pulling off a surprise death with the dragon. I'll give the credit for that. When they showed what the distance was between the ships and the dragons, I was like, wait, You didn't see that? you didn't see those ships? You guys seem pretty close to where those ships were. You know, that kind of took me for a loop. And you're right about that too. Like, you would probably be a little prepared for that.
And didn't one of the dragons get hit by a spear last season and was like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the only
whole thing about Euron came in and he was like, I want this special dragon killing thing. Didn't they address this?
I feel like they made a point at the beginning of the episode to say that he was an injured dragon. Jon did say he's injured. I still am like, it's just so inconsistent with how it is. The other big crime of this entire episode is how Jon Snow treated Ghost.
Deserve more than a nod.
Like,
more than an eye contact.
Yeah, aren't those direwolves like insanely loyal? You know, and you're just like,
he went to battle for you. I hope Tormund loves him better than Jon did. Just,
I bet he will.
Just so.
Tormund seems like he knows how to commune with an animal.
So is Tormund like? Was that his goodbye? Like in this moment,
I don't know.
I felt like that was his.
But
you
then
took
they
it as
maybe not, because he was like, "I'll see you again"
Yeah,
on the wall or something. Like, so they kind of implied maybe not. I don't know.
There was some kind of like cute little line that was like, "Oh, maybe they'll come back at some point." But ostensibly, they're just heading back to Castle Black and beyond the wall again.
that whole thing with the Starks learning the secret. Like, that's what I mean. There's no build up to a lot of how this one goes down.
didn't even see
it's,
their reactions.
it's happening so fast. I feel like earlier seasons of Game of Thrones, this is not just a compare fest. It's really just a writing issue I would have had in general with any show. Daenerys has this whole thing about don't tell them. Jon's like, I might tell them. You know, like they're there. Then like Jon's next scene, I'm gonna tell them. You know, and then right away Sansa's like, I'm gonna tell Tyrion.
Out of all people, Tyrion too.
Right away, it's all like going so fast, and rather than feeling like a chaotic tumbling effect, that I guess that's the word, it doesn't feel effective. It feels more like this is getting kind of rushed right now.
It's kind of like Walking Dead writing a little bit, where you kind of like jump around to a few different characters, and then you have like the setup of something intriguing, and then we're gonna cut away from that, and then not really deal with the meat.
I feel like that's kind of what was missing with this episode specifically. There's things that I like in context. There are a lot with this episode. Bronn showing up, I thought that was a really cool scene. The way that was shot, especially, I thought was really neat. The way they used the camera angles in reference to his crossbow, I thought like really amplifying. Like, there's a crossbow in this room, and you can just kill him any moment. I really like the way they shot that.
The lighting's much better in this.
You see a lot, especially in the south, especially down south.
I've never disagreed with why Sansa takes issue with Daenerys. The Game of Thrones world has been built up so well. The choices on Sansa's side here, I don't not like Sansa. I didn't really like her in this episode. If there's a way I can really select that out of what I'm saying. I still like Sansa. I just didn't like her in this specific episode. It was too much gossiping.
I'm a Sansa fan, and
Yeah.
I couldn't stand her in this episode.
Yeah, they only gave her kind of one kind of moment to play.
She's just always the whole time, and just always the same look throughout. I mean, that's not her fault though.
The scenes they gave her, I did like the scene between her and Tyrion simply a lot for the way she played that particular scene. It's like I could tell, like, oh, you got something like huge in your mind that you're trying to grapple with while you're talking to Tyrion.
But that scene goes back to my writing issue, where you're like, the way Tyrion is dumping all this, and you're like, oh, well, Sansa's clearly gonna like, it's not a surprise that she's gonna say it, or like, oh shit, what are you doing? You're like, okay, when's it coming? That's some of the effect that's missing with
And then
it.
he runs and tells Varys right away. It's just, what?
Weirdly, I mean, I'm pretty surprised Varys is becoming, seems like he's going to be betraying Daenerys, and Tyrion seems insanely loyal to Daenerys, you know? Like, there's no double crossing on there's like no hint of that here. He doesn't even want to think about anything possibly like that.
Oh yeah, well, and that's been within, at least on the show, Varys' character for a long time, I feel like, is that whole, like, I serve the good of the people around, you know? And I loved their conversation back and forth. I think you made a comment, you weren't super thrilled that this is what we're focusing on in this episode, but in a weird kind of crunched ending season where you don't get to have all the different flavors of Game of Thrones of old, I appreciate those kind of ideological debates, and those are two of my favorite characters. I like their back and forth about that. I thought they drew the struggle of that pretty nicely for two characters who should be kind of intellectually formidable.
I liked how this episode brought back a lot more of the political debate. One of the things I love about this show is its political debates that they have within the realm of Game of Thrones. It just seemed like, guys, you're about to go into war right now, you know? Yeah. Instead of thinking about who the next ruler should be, and if Daenerys, like, you got no, like, you're not gonna figure this out now. This is only gonna distract you from the goal of winning. Stop even thinking about this, you know? And that's kind of been a thing that's been happening with the show. Jon tells Daenerys the truth right before they're gonna go into battle. I'm like, this shouldn't be on her mind while this is going on, you know? Yeah. She needs to be focused on the thing at hand. And same thing with the Council of Daenerys. Like, you guys need to be focused on what's going on right now, because it's about to get fucking serious. I don't dislike the show at all. I still like the show. To me, this was the weaker one of the 4 that I've seen so far.
In the kind of on the nose handling a lot of things, I'll give you that. I'll kind of meet you there.
It's more just like an enjoyable episode for me.
I liked a lot of moments, you know, and I liked a lot of the contexts and a lot of the ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I wish the writing had been a bit more solid.
I think you're not a fan.
I have no faith in this show. There's that. Can't wait for the comments on this video.
When I go on Facebook and Twitter now, all I see hate towards this show. I know there's always been people who get like in debates about this series and fight over this series and are very divided. Now more than ever, I'm like, damn, all I'm seeing are headlines of like people pissed off at this show. People being like, I don't really write blogs, but I had to write a blog about why I'm hating this last season of Game of Thrones.
I want to write a strongly worded letter right now. Like, I'm
seeing it.
How do you satisfy those expectations?
You give it 12 episodes instead of 6, and you really 15, let things play out.
I really can't. I'm just flabbergasted at the route they chose to take with a lot of their choices in this episode. It's really disappointing as someone who's read all the books and followed the show for so long that I can pretty much already pinpoint exactly how the rest of the season is going to play out.
For me personally, I'm not going to know how I feel about any of this season fully until it's over.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at with you. Is like, I'm waiting to give a whole opinion on like how I feel about almost every episode until this whole season is done, because it really feels like they're telling a very specific tale in these 6 episodes. As much as I like the way this one ended, I'm still like, I'm a little bit on edge right now.
And it's disappointing because she could have still taken out a lot of those ships. They just stared at each other while she's on Drogon, like, Dracarys, burn the motherfuckers down. Like, no, you're just like staring at each other like, oh, you just did that. Oh, I cannot wait for her to slaughter the entire village. I'm really mad queening. I'm like, yes, kill them all, Dany. I want you on the Iron Throne now. I want you to take everyone out. I don't even care at this point. You know what? Go ahead and burn down everyone else.
I'm fascinated by what a mess this has become. I think there have been some interesting choices made. I think there have been a few clumsy choices made, and I'm curious about next week. That's how I feel right now.
I'll be drinking a lot during this episode.
Well, what did you guys think of this episode? And before we wrap this up, we owe a patron of the day and an apology to a woman named Victoria Huntley.
Wow.
You see, we have a shout out reward tier over at our Patreon page. Going off the information Patreon gives us, we try to write down everyone who is owed a shout out in one of our YouTube videos. And for some reason, Victoria Huntley's name did not pop up. So when I posted the list of everyone who got a shout out in the month of April, I got a message from Victoria, who's been a patron of ours for many, many months, saying, I didn't get a shout out. And then I lied and said, whoopsie, really, I just avoided you. I did not care to give you a no. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry. I really, I feel, you have no idea. Like, some people might be like, oh, my bad. I feel really bad about that. So this is your part 1 shout out for May. You will get a second proper shout out. First shout out is an apology. Second shout out will be nothing but love, my dear. Say hi to your fiance for me. Guys, you can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell. Follow Olivia at Forever Tiffany's, where she posts constantly about Game of Thrones.
Not anymore.
Go check us out on Patreon. That's where we got TV show reaction stream along, several reaction highlights included, weekly Q&As, music video coverage. Love to have you. Become a patron, J. Join us next week.